sometimes you hear things that stick with you forever, right? Like one of the things that I heard in school was it was one Newton's laws. It's an equal but opposite reaction, right? And it's like a law of physics, but it's also a law of people to a certain degree. Except we don't agree on what equal is. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody does you dirty and then you want revenge, whenever you feel satisfied, your friends, your family might look at you like you crazy. Like you like, oh, you didn't have to do all that, right? You know what I mean? Your friends and family might even tell you, hey, stop, you got him. You got him, I swear you got him, right? And you're like, no, it's not enough. Like, because you locked in, right? You locked into revenge. Maybe, look, also because of how the world works and because of how we're all entering and exiting each other's lives, sometimes you make somebody pay for the sins of other people. Sometimes they did you dirty, but they didn't do all of it. That's not their whole fault. Like you clearly let out some demons on somebody else. You especially know you're doing it if you accidentally call them the wrong name. You know what I mean? You know, like you get your last day at work, you quitting. You quitting this job and they ain't done you dirty too many times and you're sick of it, right? And then at the last second when you cursing your boss out and you telling him where he can shove it and you can tell him how he treated you and how he no longer has any power over you and you can tell him to go right to hell and then you accidentally say, Dad. And then both y'all have to sit with that for a second, like. Now the exit interview is awkward, right? Because you were on a roll. You had that whole speech prepared. That dad thing came out of nowhere, right? It was okay. There was this one time when I was living in Chicago that I was near Wrigleyville. And Wrigleyville, if you don't know, that's where the Cubs play. And it's like the ratchet bar bro-y type part of Chicago, right? So there's a lot of fights for no reason. There's a lot of like catcalling. There's just so much chaos happening, and it's all stuff that is like not. It doesn't faze you as much when you're like in your early 20s, right? You're just like, oh, I'm out where the party is. And I think if you go back there at like 30, you'll be like, ooh. Everyone here should call their mom. Everybody here. You know? But while I was out there, there was this guy that was walking and he was drunk. He had that like... I've never seen anybody walk like this. Like he really was walking like his feet couldn't find the ground. And it's always gonna be there. It's always every time. But he was like, And I couldn't believe he wasn't falling. He was staying upright and everything. And this guy was passing. And this guy was passing with his girlfriend. And the drunk guy, as they pass him, he clocks the girlfriend. And he just casually, like, spins on a heel and slaps her ass, right? Yeah, so she notices. She very much notices. And it's crazy. Almost all this could have been prevented because he's so off his balance that he almost missed, right? He almost had a very different night. And so basically he slaps her ass and then she turns around and then her boyfriend turns around. Now he has not withdrawn his hand fast enough for the boyfriend to not know what just happened, right? So then he turns around and this guy is like, the drunk guy is bigger than the guy whose girlfriend just got her ass slapped. So even though that dude goes like toe to toe with him in the next moment, I was still worried about the little guy because the little guy was little, right? And even in his drunken state, he's still like aware enough to know he was big enough to be an asshole, right? Because instead of apologizing or anything like that, he's like, what you gonna do, little man? What you gonna do, right? And he didn't say it like that. He was like, what's he gonna do, little man? What you gonna do, little man? What you gonna do, little man? Huh? Ain't nobody, what you gonna do, little man? And little dude wasn't little for long. Because he popped that dude square in the mouth. And then big dude finally found the ground, right? And I had never seen this before in real life, but little dude didn't just fight him. He started doing actual wrestling moves on the street, right? This man, girlfriend Ben stepped out of the way, and this man goes... This man went... This dude was going off, right? And it got to the point where even as a bystander, I was like, I think you got him. I think you got him. Because the big dude is not getting up at a certain point. He tried to get up the first time, and him trying to get up was hilarious because, okay, so let me see if I can do it. So he over here like this, right? So he on the ground. And then he tries to like, because he's so drunk, he doesn't know he on the ground, so he tries to walk up. This man tried to walk up while he was getting hit. He was getting hit in his face and he was like, what is stopping me? It's crazy. What's happening? And then he really tries to like walk up and then he finds the ground with his hand and then he goes, you gonna stop hitting me in my damn face. And then when he said that, the dude uppercut him and he went flat back down, right? And then the beating did turn a little bit too much into dancing, right? Like then the beating, because then he started to do stuff that was not even wrestling moves anymore. He was just like, pow! To the point where even his girl was like, hey, you got him. But you could tell, you could see it on his face that something deeper was bothering him than just this moment, right? Because if you're not, and I'm speaking on the behalf of men who are not big, right? If you are not a big man, you've probably been punked a couple times in your life, right? Or at least someone tried to punk you because they didn't know they shouldn't try you, right? And so then that stuff starts to well up, and then out of nowhere, you finally have a righteous opportunity to exercise all of that anger, so then you let loose. And when you don't stop, people are like, damn. And I said that because that's the best way I can illustrate what happened between Kendrick and Drake. Because Drake makes his little like club beats and he does his little, and he's a good rapper, don't get me wrong, he's a good rapper, but he makes his little like get drunk to this type songs, dance and everything. And then he was calling out Whitney, Kendrick's wife, because that's what he likes to do. He likes to attack rappers by their wife. If you look through his catalog, he does it every time. And then Kendrick said, okay. I promise you, nothing but sweet chin music. I'm ready. All right? Because I think in order to understand, I really don't think people get it. In order to understand how important and powerful that pop-out concert was, you have to understand Nipsey Hussle. Okay? Nipsey Hussle was a rapper that a lot of people, at least as many people as I think should know, don't know. But what is one of the most important things about Nipsey Hussle, and what he would probably want you to know about him and remember about him, besides the fact that he was a phenomenal artist, is that he spent his time, his money, his attention, and all of his intention in improving the lives of the people that grew up around him, improving his community. Okay? This dude would pay for shoes for kids in elementary school that didn't have them. He would get repaved basketball courts that were in disarray, right? He would pay and help raise funds for funerals of victims and their families of gun violence, right? And this is all in his neighborhood. So the same way that people come up, he tried to bring everybody with him. That was his mission. He made it his mission because, yes, he was a great artist and he was getting on and everything, but you just getting out is not enough, right? Sometimes people make it out and then people don't, how do I put this? It's not enough if you just make it out. You want to bring people with you. Imagine you're in a burning building and so is your whole family. What credit is it to you? What does it really say about you if just you make it out? It means you ran out and you left everybody else. And Nipsey was like, I will die in a burning building if it means I get as many people out as possible, right? You know? Because it's very easy. It's one of the easiest things to do because all of your experience is relative to you, right? So you actually, as much as we may look down on it, you can't always fault someone who forgets where they came from, especially if you came from a bad place. Sometimes you try to forget where you came from. You know, I used to think about that. I was like, damn, if I get rich enough, ooh, I won't be able to find this place on Google Maps. You know? But I mean it. It's like, that's an amazing thing. And the other amazing thing, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but Nipsey did so much good. He did so many impactful things. He started so many programs and he taught how to give back and he taught people while he was still alive. It's like, I want to instruct Black Americans on how to build franchises for themselves, right? So that when we make the money, we'll know what to do with the money, right? And he did all this with what I would consider very little money. Because yes, he was a big artist, and yes, he was a millionaire. But when he passed, when he was murdered, his net worth was about $8 million. And I think that people don't recognize how low that is in the grand scheme of how rich some of these artists are. We have artists that are billionaires, right? We have artists that are on track to be billionaires. And they don't do what he did with so much, with literally a fraction of what they had, right? And so I think it's important, in order to understand that pop-out concert, it's important to understand Nipsey and what he stood for and what he was trying to do. It's also important to at least understand the image and the legacy of Kobe. Because Kobe was also this integral part of LA, integral part of sport, right? And no matter what you think about the man himself, what he did in basketball, the passion that he had, his obsession with his passion is exactly what he wanted to impart on people for whatever it is that they do. Whatever it is you do. It doesn't have to be entertainment, it doesn't have to be a sport. It could just be the passion you have for being a father, right? If your obsession is being the best at whatever your passion is, you will make an impact, right? It's why, to this day, and when I was little, if I have a ball of paper and a trash can is far enough away, Kobe. And if I make it, I lose my mind. You know? And so it's also important, no matter what you think of the man himself. Kendrick is someone that both of these individuals showed love to. And he's someone that has an obsession for his passion, which is music. And he's also someone that through his music, and at least in the intention of how he speaks in every interview and in everything that I've read about him, wants to give the same way that Nipsey gave, right? And sort of be a beacon for those same principles. So then, when you have something like the Pop-Out concert, which is on Juneteenth, which is a liberation day for black people, right? And then they all come together. And when I say they, I mean every section, every known and probably unknown section of LA's gang members were in one place at the same time. That's crazy. They were all there. And everyone made it about the beef, and he played the diss tracks. Of course they do. But it was bigger than that. There was a 4-hour concert with artists from all over LA, all over West Coast, putting on, making their amazing music shown to the world. And there was even a little detail, like, I haven't verified this thing, but I heard about it, and I know of someone that, at least I think it happened to, where the concert tickets sold so fast that I guess they were checking zip codes. And if you didn't live in or around LA or the West Coast, they were refunding people so that people in LA could go to the concert, right? You know? Because the thing that Kendrick gives, at least to me, the thing that Nipsey gave, at least to me, and the thing that Kobe gives to a certain degree is an appreciation and a strengthening of community. Community is very important. And just because you're not a member of a particular community doesn't mean you can't help, doesn't mean you can't feel a part of it. But if you're in a community, it's important to give back. I think that's the thing I'm trying to establish, right? Is that if you're a part of a community, it's important to give back, right? Which is why, outside of any colorism, outside of any part of the beef, the thing that bothered people, and the thing that I think gets missed, because people want to be fans in whole of a person and their work, and it's just not possible. You know what I mean? It's not. You don't actually know the person, so maybe they made a good thing, and maybe you like it, and that can be enough, right? So this isn't to discredit the entirety of someone making work and then also having to back up that work with being an angel. But I think what bothers people is that community is sometimes equal to culture. So if you're not a member of a community and you take from the community, let's say you're a business that moves in and all you do is sit there and let the people spend money, and then you send that money away from the people who spent the money, that you put that. What place do you have here? We're trying to build something, we're trying to build up. And you're just taking, right? And I understand business is business, but you're just taking. And I think that's what bothers a lot of artists about Drake. It's not that he's light skinned, whatever. It's literally, I promise you, it's the fact that you're not actually trying to be or in the community, but you take, and what do you give? You're a billionaire unto yourself. Who else did you get out the house?
Preach.
Because Nipsey did so much, and he did it, and he left with a net worth of $8 million. How many hundreds of millions? How many hundreds of millions does Drake have? And I'm not telling anybody how to spend their money. I'm just saying that when we look at who's doing what and when they're doing it, you got a lot left. So when you have a concert like that, right? When you have a concert that's a day of liberation and you've grabbed all of these different sections out of LA, you gotta understand what it is for some of these people to be in the same room. By any other metric of any other time, they would be in the streets killing each other. And now they're all inside in one place right now, right? So I think that's what got so many people so emotional about that moment when they were all on stage together dancing together, dancing the way. And I understand that there are lots of black people who don't have the take that I have about it, that think that any mention or any semblance of gang culture shouldn't be equated to any part of blackness. And I understand that, but I'm saying we are where we are, right? Those are black people. And yes, they've been in situations and they've been in conditions where they are gang members. But if you have a day like the Pop-Out concert, and you have another day like the Pop-Out concert, you have another day like the Pop-Out concert, all of a sudden, all this stuff, it just disintegrates. Do you know what I mean? It's all about a future, right? You had more gang members than any of... We do not know how many gang members were on that stage, but they were all dancing together. And sure, it was to call Drake a pedophile. I understand that. I understand. But they had to dance to something, right? And so... It was actually fascinating to watch because there were clearly a lot of people on that stage that did not want to be on the camera. They didn't want to, you know what I mean? They didn't want to be on the Amazon. Because even if I think one of the reasons people are having trouble finding the words to describe what an impactful and beautiful moment it was is because to tell the whole of it is not only hard to do, it does feel a little like snitching. You know what I mean? Like if you're like, he was there and he was there and he was there. Now all of a sudden the LAPD is like, tell me more. You know? And so maybe for the good of unity, the good of the community, maybe even the good of the culture, maybe Drake should try one more time. Maybe he should... Do y'all already know about Kristi Noem? Like, is this... Okay, if you don't know, she's a politician for now. She's in South Dakota, and she has blown up. I mean, I'm technically late to the story. Like, she blew up on the news and every platform because everyone thought that she was like the front runner to be Trump's VP pick, and she released a book, you know, to just capitalize on that possibility. Was releasing a book around now, and in the book she tells a story about shooting her puppy. I know. And when I first heard about it, because I heard about it before I read about it, when I first heard about it, I was like, nobody's that dumb to just volunteer a story about them doing the one thing that'll bum everybody out across America, no matter what. Yeah, I mean, like, and she's telling the story, and she relays the story like a war story or something. And basically, she shot the dog, and then after she shot the dog, she was walking back to her house, I guess very proud of herself. And then she saw her goat, and she was like, I might as well, you know, because I got more than one bullet in the... And then she kills her goat, and then she told everyone. And I feel like there's a whole thing of politicians being out of touch, right? Like, you know, like sometimes you'll hear about a politician saying something, doing something, you know. Like a good example is like the way that people were during the pandemic, how they would just be like, oh, well, now's the time to dip into our savings. It's like, what are you talking about, our, right? It's a very out-of-touch thing to say because you as a politician are very rich because every single one of them in Congress, usually at least, engages in some form of insider trading, and very few of them are trying to stop it, you know? So out of touch is one thing. Killing your dog and telling everybody about it. That sounds like somebody that wants to retire but doesn't know how. Like, you know what I mean? Like, political life's a bit much. But when I leave, I want to make sure they don't keep bugging me to come back, you know? I want to make sure when I'm gone, it's for good. Yeah. And she also... She keeps getting banned. There are a lot of reservations in South Dakota, and the leaders of each of these reservations keep voting and passing to ban her from stepping on the reservation, like ban her from the premises, which is like, a good portion of the state. Like a lot of... I've never seen somebody get kicked out of outside. Like... You know what I mean? Because at a certain point, you just vote for them to get shot into space or something. Like this is... Because I respect what the native people were saying, because she was saying a lot about the reservation. She was saying that that's where all of the crime comes from, and that the cartels go through the reservation specifically. And they were like, not only do you not have proof of what you're saying, it's deeply offensive, and you shoot dogs. I don't want you anywhere around my children, my home, or anything. I feel like the only thing to do now is lock her in a room with Biden's dog. And like just for them to talk. You know what I mean? Just so like, he can probably get through to her better than a human can. Because we already tried talking it out. I feel very blessed to live in this time. I don't know if I lived in any other time if I would have made it. I don't say that in a self-deprecating way. I hear stories from my mom, stories from my grandparents, stories from just the past. I watch documentaries and I'm like, sounds rough. Yeah, I mean, and I'm from a rougher time than now, because the present is usually better than the past, and it gives you hope for the future and everything. Like I remember when text messages weren't unlimited. I remember when, what's crazy? Before text messages were unlimited, there would be a lot of time where I'd want to text somebody. Maybe they were going through something, maybe they were, and I want to text them, but I only had so many. And remember minutes? Remember phone minutes? Okay, if anybody in here is very young, okay, so this is a rough concept to explain, because it makes me sound like I'm from when the phone was invented. But for any of the younger people in here, just know that your cell phone, you making all these calls, your phones didn't used to be loose like that. Phones used to be much tighter, okay? Much stingier with time. They basically broke down your phone into minutes, and you had minutes that you could buy. They even broke down the day. Because at first, they charged you for minutes on minutes. Anytime you want to talk for an hour, it was this much you want to talk for. And then eventually, when they realized how to support more phones, they were like, listen, it's 25 cents a minute on your little plan, but everything's free after 5. And back in the day, after 5 o'clock, people's phones would blow up. People would... As soon as it hit 5 o'clock, it's like, I've been waiting to tell you. Like, the amount of times that it was like after 5, and then I got a call that actually was an emergency that I should have been called about at 2, but they didn't want to mess up their plan. So then they were weighing how badly I needed to know. The amount of calls about death I got at 5 p.m. And I'd be like, why do you call me? What happened? He wouldn't be more or less dead if I waited. Why I gotta burn minutes to tell you something that's gonna be true in a couple hours? Oh, it was a terrible time. It was rough. It was really bad. And texting fell under minutes. And so different phone companies had different plans. So for some people, one text was, a quarter of a minute. One text was half a minute. Some people, if they were being very expensive, a text was a whole minute, right? So it could be a very short text. It could be, hey, that's a minute. Which always felt crazy to me as a kid, because I got my first cell phone later than my other friends, because I didn't have money like that. So I had to buy my own cell phone and support it myself with minutes. And I remember I sent a text and it said, hey, and it would tell you how many minutes have been deducted every time you did something. When you get off the phone, it would tell you like that was 4.5 minutes or whatever. And I remember I sent a text message, said, hey, and it said I used a minute. And I was like, no, that wasn't a minute, because hey is hey. Hey, those weren't a minute. That I said hey, I didn't say hey. How was that a minute? And there was nobody to argue with, because this is what killed me. Because sometimes when you try to call customer service to tell them they mess up your minutes and they deducting wrong and everything, it costs minutes to call them. So now I'm on the phone with them like, y'all need to hurry up and pick up, because it's minutes. Minutes are happening now. And do these minutes count? They're like, sir, these minutes count because you're on your phone. I'm like, no, but I'm talking to you about fixing my phone. They were like, yeah, but you're on your phone. I was like, oh, I think she's trying to keep me on the phone right now. I think she's trying to burn out all my minutes, because then she keep leaving and coming back and leaving and coming. What are you doing? Are you doing errands right now? Why can't you just continue the conversation and answer my question? So she got me burning through minutes. Anyway, text messaging used to sometimes be a whole minute for one text, right? And in a weird way, I wish we could go back to some form of limited text messages. We all get too much. We all get too many. Because this is the other problem with texting that I have now. Now that it's unlimited, people feel like you're obligated to them because they text you, because they feel like it's the same as talking. So as soon as they text you, it doesn't matter when they text you, as soon as they text you, that's like them being like, hey. But when you don't say anything for several hours, like if I said hey to you right now and you just stared at me, it'd be rude. It'd be rude. But you're also living your life. You're not obligated to say hey to me because I said hey to you. You're living your life, right? But then you'll text somebody, especially if it's important. You'll text somebody. And then you'll be like, all right, they'll text me when they get to it. I hope it's soon because this is important. And then maybe you're just on your phone. Maybe you open up Instagram or something, and then you see a new post. And then that new post is less than a minute old. I'm like, okay, that's after I text them. So they on their phone. They on their phone. And then most phones, a lot of those iPhones have that red thing that has red. I don't know why people are snitching on themselves like that. That's crazy. Because sometimes people tell me stuff in a text message I don't want to respond to. So then why would I put read by Josh at 6:03 and now it's 7:42 and they know I read it? And it was important. We need to go back. I don't know. Everything's always about more. Sometimes more is too much. What would our lives be like if there was a limit, a built-in limit, where you could only sin? I'll give you even a wide margin, high ceiling. Let's say 200 text messages in a day. I don't think most people even hit that. 200? But if you live in a hectic life, you know what I mean? 200 is a pretty high ceiling. I had friends being like, no, 200 that's way too low. And I was like, do you go to work? What do you mean low? What are y'all talking about? I think it should be like very low. I think it should be like 25. 25 feels reasonable to me, because now there are gonna be people who hit you up, who get your number. You don't even know they have a number. They hit you up, and you're like, I'm not gonna waste a text on a who is this? Because that's what I used to do during the minutes, right? You used to get a text, you don't know this number, you're like, who is this? Your phone's like, that was a minute. It's like, no, it wasn't a minute, though. That doesn't take that long to say, who is this? I just said, who is this? And they text me. Shouldn't it call? Every time you explain how tech used to work to a young person, I've said this before, but it just feels like the dark ages. Feels like, feels terrible. Like, they would also charge you if somebody texts you, and I'm like, that's not my fault. I can't control that over there. Because now you double dipping. It should charge the person who sent the text, and then the person, I'm just a listener. I'm a bystander. I wasted 5 minutes one time not knowing somebody. They were like, hey, how you doing? I was like, who is this? And they were like, it's Greg. I was like, I don't know a Greg. And then they were like, oh, sorry, wrong number. 5 minutes. What is my life? Charging me to open it like it's a secret every time. Your phone used to do that. It used to be a phone you could buy at the Dollar Tree, and then you put like 600 minutes on thinking, that's a lot. That's a lot. 600 minutes. That's crazy. I won't get through that. But then the way they rig it, they send a text message. It says it's from mom, because mom is saved in my contacts, right? But then, like, damn, can I afford to open it? I'm on my last 3 minutes. Ooh, my last 3 minutes. And it just says mom, and it says unopened. So the phone is coming, like, your mom texted you. You feel like knowing what it's about? What if it's an emergency? What if it's important? Go ahead and open it up. It'll just take a minute. I've been worried about getting older and everything, and like where I'm at in life, or where I should be based on age and stuff. You know, you always do those comparisons with your peers or just with people, with history, all that stuff. And I think I'm especially freaking out because I don't know what type of old man I'm gonna be, because I don't think you get to choose. Do you know what I mean? I don't think a lot of old men want to be the old men that they are. And it feels like there are some very specific lanes you can go down. You could be a creepy old man, you could be an angry old man, you could be a sweet old man, you could just have dementia. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's only 4 ways you can go. And I'm scared I'm gonna be an angry old man, you know? That's why I try to live my life. I try to be present so that I won't look back and wish anything or have regrets or get bitter or anything like that, because I'm already starting to get angry old man tendencies. Because I already hate kids, but not kids in general. I got beef with specific kids, like an old man would. Like, I got, like, it's like 4 kids where I'm like, ooh. Because there's nothing you could do, so I just hope something bad happens. You know what I mean? It's just 4 of them. So it's not kids at large. It's just, I'll tell you about one of them. I was walking down the street, walking to the train, and there was this little Girl Scout, selling cookies. All right? And we got into it, okay? No, you need to be on my side. Hear me out. So I'm walking down the street, and then this Girl Scout is like, cookies, cookie. Like, she just working her corner, I guess. And like, cookies. And then she sees me. I'm trying to avoid eye contact. I don't want to have anything to do with this right now. I'm trying to keep a good diet and everything. So I'm trying to stare straight ahead. And then she's like, would you want some cookies? And like leaned into my field of vision. Like, would you like some cookies? And I was like, oh, no, I'm okay, but thank you. Have a good day, right? I said all that. I didn't even say any of that. I could have just kept walking. I could have acted like I didn't hear her, right? But then she goes, as I'm about to pass her, she right here, right? And then as I'm passing, she goes, it's okay if you're broke. What? Who does, like, who talks like that? That's insane. That's so crazy. And so I stopped, and I should have stopped, but I stopped. I was like, what did you say? And she was like, it's okay if you're broke. She said it louder the second time. And I was like, where is an adult? Where, like, you just, this is crazy. But now what do you do? Because I'm like, I'm the grown man. There's nothing that I can do, you know? I can't just be out here yelling. I can't be a grown black man out here yelling at a child holding cookies. Fox would have a fucking field day if there's a picture of me yelling and she's holding the cookies up. So I hit her with everything I could. I was like, Santa ain't real. Tooth Fairy not real. And she just stone cold stared me in my face. It was like, and you don't have any real money. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? There's nothing that you could do in this moment. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna go home and pray that you stay the same size your whole life. That's all I can do. There was a time in my life where I don't know why. Maybe it was like a keeping up with the Joneses thing or something, but I wanted AirPods so badly. I don't even know why I wanted them. They're not better than the corded. It's all hype. But I wanted them, but I didn't feel like I could afford them. I felt like it'd be too much to spend on some AirPods, right? So I just shut down those desires. I saved up my money. I was like, I'm gonna spend my money on something that's not gonna pass away. I'm gonna make sure that I spend my money on something that's gonna give me a lot of joy. So I spent it on a trip to Mexico, right? And while I was in Mexico, I saw a knockoff pair of AirPods that were so cheap, but they weren't just cheap by like the exchange rate. They were cheap in pesos. They were so cheap, I thought they might be toys, but I was like, let me roll the dice, because I have money to blow now, right? And I bought them, I brought them home, and these had to be the biggest AirPods I've ever seen in my entire life. They were so big, they hurt to put in my ear. They genuinely stretched my ear a little bit because I had to shove them in. And you know how the AirPod's supposed to come like here, just under your ear? These came down, like these were wild. And so I turned it on, and the way you turned them on was each side had a button. That's how big they were, that they had buttons on them, all right? You had to press each button at the same time to turn them on. And when you press the button, it didn't even make a technology noise. It wasn't like, it was just like just immediately in your ear. And I don't know if this is related, but as soon as I turned them on, my balls hurt so bad. Which doesn't even make sense. I was like, how are these connected at all? What waves are being sent through my body right now? Because I went like, and I was like, ugh, like immediately. And I had him in for a little while, and while I had him in, my mom gave me a call, and I answered because you just had to hit the button to answer. And honestly, everyone that called me while I was wearing my bum AirPods, they sounded behind me. It was the most unsettling. Like, I answered if I was like, hey, mom, and she's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh. I tried for 2 weeks to wear them, you know, because I was like, if I go ahead and wear them every day, they won't hurt as much anymore and everything. And then finally, I gave it up. I was like, these are not worth it. I put them back in the box. I put them in the closet, and I saved up my money, and I just went ahead and bought some regular AirPods, right? But my ear's like a little too loose now for the standard air. Like my right got tight again, but my left, like my ear ussy is like not snapping back at all. It's like, and then if I even yawn, they fall out. Like it's hanging on by a thread. I got to hang out with one of my older relatives, and it's really important to me to hang out with people that are older than me because they really do show us the way. You know what I mean? They haven't lived perfectly. Most of the things they say are gonna be imperfect, but I feel like life is like a dark house, right? And older people, they start walking through the house before we did. So sometimes we're trying to find our own way and we hear them calling out in front of us, hey, watch it, there's a door right there. Hey, don't hit your shin on that, you know what I mean? But then every once in a while, they'll let you walk all the way out of a window and be like, my bad, I didn't see that one coming. That's on me, all right? Back in my day, we would fall out that window and we would just get back in the house. We wouldn't complain about it. But we were talking and I realized something, another thing that I worry about, getting to be an old man. When that day comes, I know a few things that are gonna bother me. Every time we would go somewhere, he would get so mad if I made him use his knees. We would get somewhere and he was like, you didn't tell me they had all them steps. And I was like, what? Would you have prepared or something? He's like, yeah, I would have got my head right for all these steps. Nah, I just gotta do steps, unprepared. I didn't get to count them out. I didn't get to look at the image, see how many steps it would be or anything. You just want me to go up these steps raw. And I was like, what? Do you mean raw? I feel like enough time has passed that we can talk about it without it being weird. So, I did a lot of protesting in 2020. There was very little else to do. And all the protests that I happened to go to were peaceful. And there were plenty of peaceful ones. There were peaceful ones all across the state, country, world, peaceful. But enough time has passed that we can admit there were some that weren't. There was a couple times I was watching the news, I was like, nah, Target didn't do anything. Well, what was in there? Yeah. And I was having this conversation with a friend, and he told me that he also went to a protest, and he admitted to me that when this protest just happened, it was like out of nowhere. At one point, he was like protesting with the people, and then he saw people starting to run, and then everybody was running, and then somebody threw something, and then it was a riot. It was like a riot around him. And he admitted to me that when it turned into a riot that he looted, right? And it's weird, because you're never on the phone with a looter. Yeah, I mean, you always see them on TV, they like stock footage and stuff like that. You never like having a conversation. Because he told me, I was like, why the fuck are you telling this on my phone? What are you doing right now? What's wrong with you? And I was so torn about it, you know what I mean? Because a part of me, all he looted was a rabbit. Nah, I'll explain. Basically, this shit kicked off into a riot, and then this man ran into a PetSmart I'm pretty sure was open. Grabbed a rabbit and ran out. And I was so torn about it, because a part of me was like, why would you loot? What's wrong with you? That's not the point. And then another part of me was like, you couldn't grab someone with some street value or something like that? That's crazy. Because he didn't get a good rabbit. This rabbit been sick since he got it, all right? He been in and out of the vet 3 years off this rabbit. This man lured himself $7,000 into rabbit medical debt. It's absolutely crazy. Look, Chicago, y'all been too good. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you.